So again, everyone, welcome back to the Renew and Refresh 21-Day Detox Challenge. We have myself, Dr. Tasha Reed, which, well, everyone knows on here, but you may not know, co-host Dr. Karen Meadows. Say hi, Karen.
Hello.
We are partnering for this program. Dr. Karen Meadows is in South Carolina, so she's a little bit colder up there than us down here in Florida, but that's okay. I keep trying to get her to move here, but it's a whole nother story, right?
Yeah, we won't go into that this evening.
So again, the 21-day detox challenge. A few of us may be on different days, but in general, we're making our way through the program. And so for most of us, it is the week 3. So this is our week 3 talk. After this, we have one more live class, which will be next Monday, and that will be the end of the program for most of the people that started with us on January 8th, or at least have a couple of more days left after that day. A few quotes for everyone. The food you eat can either be the safest and the most powerful form of medicine, or it can be the slowest form of poison. I like to also sum that up for a lot of people. If I see patients in the office, I tell them the things that you put into your body, whether it's food, medication, something to drink, it's either going to help you or hurt you. It may not do that right away. It may take some time to help you or hurt you, but there is always going to be an outcome, whether it's a favorable outcome or whether it's a negative outcome. So you always have to be mindful of that. And the second picture, being fit, is 80% diet, 20% alcohol, exercise, and you can't outrun your fork. So you see people and they, working out and working out and working out, but they have a poor diet. It doesn't work like that. Okay, eventually it will cause some type of issue, or be a hindrance, I should say. So 7 days from now, like I said, we're going into our 3rd full week here. 7 days from now, you're either going to be blown away by how much you've improved, how you look, how you feel, how you look in the mirror, what you see on the scale, how well you get up in the morning or go to sleep, or you're going to regret not having done your best. So ultimately, the choice is always going to be yours. We are always here to encourage and help people along with the process, as well as help our patients along with the process. But obviously, we can't do it for you. We can't make the choices for you. So the choice is always going to be yours. So days 15 through 21, which we're heading into now, nothing's changing here. You're still continuing with your current diet, still doing your lean meats, your fish, vegetables, fruits, healthy oils, butters, quinoa. Nothing's changing. Remember to get in a little bit of that exercise, move that body as much as you can. Excuse me. So nothing different heading into this last stretch of things. A few people, again, I don't know where you're fully at as far as your days, but this is still going to hold true to you when you do get to days 15 through 21.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. Meadows.
Yes, Dr. Reed.
Let's talk about healthy fats.
Yes. There's so much to go into, and we're just going to just go through the tip of the iceberg because fats is really a huge area of controversy. Whether you talk about fats as cholesterol, triglycerides, HDLs, LDLs, the numbers vary between what is acceptable and one, I guess, practice compared to another. Like medical doctors, they like to see ranges one way, and we like to see ranges like different way. So there's so much controversy, but overall, we're going to try to help clear some of that up and at least get you to have a basic understanding of what's good and what's bad about fats, especially the ones that you cook with.
Hmm.
Wow, the wonderful story of Crisco.
Yes. I know
Yeah,
this is
yes.
something that everyone has used at some point. If you didn't use it
Mhm.
personally, your mother used it, your grandmother used it, somebody used Crisco.
Yes. I remember having Crisco in my cabinets. I remember baking with it.
Hmm.
It was a staple at one point.
Yes, it was.
So
Yes,
we're
it
just
was.
gonna go through the history a little bit about Crisco. You want to start it?
Yeah, I'll start it. So Crisco. We're not going to give you the full history. We're just going to kind of sum up some points for you. So the founders of Crisco were originally looking to compete with the soap makers and the candle makers. Of course, soap and candle being used, the oil, the animal fat that was used for those things. Now, of course, we're of a certain age. There may be people on here of a certain age that remember some of those times. And that again, that's not to make fun of anyone. But a lot of people don't know this history that's out there. So the founders of Crisco, out of necessity, and in order to compete with the market, because now they're coming into a market of, these lucrative soap and candle makers. So in order to compete with the market, they entered into using cottonseed oil business, or going into the cottonseed oil business, and partnering up basically with a chemist that created the process of hydrogenation. And that's a complicated, long process, bring you back to your middle school, high school years of chemistry. We're not going to go through all that. But basically, the process of hydrogenation was to make the oil hard. So you have something a little bit more stable. And that occurred back in the early 1900s. So now, also around this time, electricity was starting to gain, um, how do you say, gain
Popularity,
popularity. Yes.
maybe.
I was going to say acceptance. Popularity out there, where more and more people are starting to use electricity. So, of course, there's going to be a decline in candle makers, or having the need for candles, because electricity is becoming more popular. So, what happens to this new product? And I'll let you take over
Yeah, so
after
now they
this.
have this product and they're like, well, what are we going to do with this? Um, and then they realized that it did resemble lard. They said, well, let's now market this to housewives. And but how will we do that? How will we introduce this fake food or this resemblance to lard to the public? So what they decided to do to get housewives to switch from butter and lard to using this imitation food, they created a cookbook. And this cookbook contained 615 recipes, and all of the recipes replaced lard and butter with Crisco. And that was the best thing for them because they were able to sell their product because it cost less and it was more stable, so it lasts longer on shelves. And what they didn't realize in the beginning was that this imitation food was causing problems. It caused high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, a whole host of things. And when they brought it back to the founders were in denial and they were trying to figure out ways to actually cover it up. And I will say that's pretty much how things kind of happen today. But
Mm-hmm.
they worked with I believe it was the Heart Association to keep it kind of under wraps. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until, what was that, like April 2001, when they decided to auction off their company, that they had to really face what do you call it? Face the facts of what was
Hmm.
actually happening and all the problems that Crisco was presenting in the American diet.
Hmm. And it was so prevalent. I mean, here, like you said, this was something that was marketed to the housewives
Mhm.
back then. I remember growing up, and it was Crisco. You didn't see, granted, there was butter in the refrigerator, but it was maybe something that was used to make garlic toast or something like that. But Crisco shortening, that was pretty much what was used in recipes. And you still see it in a lot of recipes. For them to be complicit in it, especially someone coming back to you and saying that this causes these issues, but yeah, we're just going to sweep that up under the rug and it's no big deal. This is now decades later, the ramifications of these things. Not that it wasn't happening decades ago, but it's just been a slow process. It's been a gradual increase over the decades. More and more it's in the diet, and more it has caused consequences to the American people with it. And it all goes back to this being an imitation food.
Right.
So, are all fats bad? No, of course not. There are the good fats, and then there are the bad fats. The good fats we know, and things that we've maybe grew up being told that they weren't good, but butter, lard. I remember when I was younger and I would hear the word lard, and I just thought that it just sounded like the nastiest thing in the world. Like, who is using lard? Like, that
Mhm.
just seems ridiculous. Because Crisco and shortening was just so, it was just so normal, I guess you could say.
Right.
So olive oil, sesame oil, coconut oil. We use fish oils a lot. I'm sure a lot of people may remember having to take cod liver oil. So those are your good fats. And then we have the bad fats, which is all of your partially hydrogenated fats. So margarine, shortening. I can't believe it's not butter. Vegetable
Mhm.
spreads, um, your what we call your seed oils, so canola, soy, vegetable oil, corn oil. And all of these fats can be heated to a very high temperature. So that's why they're used with a lot of frying. They're used in a lot of processed foods because they become a little bit more stable. But again, they're causing us problems.
Right. So it was with Crisco when they decided to introduce that extra hydrogen, which made it hydrogenated.
Hmm.
That's when trans fats actually became an issue. And that's the bad fat that you want to avoid,
Hmm.
which on the slide is number one.
Yes. I'll let you continue.
So the bad fats, trans fats, is just an unnatural fat. It, like I said, it was created in a lab when they decided to add an extra hydrogen atom to the chain, I guess you say, and it
Hmm.
created something that resembled food. Um, free radicals. Free radicals is a problem because it causes destruction within the body. A lot of free radicals can be linked to heart disease as well as cancer. So free radicals are a toxic byproduct. Synthetic vitamins, that says it all right there. It's not natural, it is man-made, it's made in a lab, and it does not, the body does not utilize it the same way it does something that's naturally found in nature. Also, preservatives have been added as stabilizers. Those are unhealthy. Those are also linked to obesity, heart disease, and a whole list of other health concerns. Hexane and other solvents are used in butter, margarine spreads, all that stuff. And hexane is actually used as an extraction for, what is it, oils like motor oil and things like that.
Mhm.
So people use it for motor oil, but yet, they want to put it in our foods. That's not a good idea.
Mm-mm.
And bleach. We know what bleach is used for. Bleach is a whitening. We should not be consuming bleach. It was not meant to be, put in the food. Artificial colors. Artificial colors and artificial flavors, especially artificial flavors. They are used to mask the taste and also mask the odor. Soy protein isolate. That helps to give the product some body. So it's not just a lump of something that's sitting in a container. It actually looks pleasant and pleasing to the eye. And this is just a list of some of the things that are found in the spreads, in the margins, and all the seed oils, things like that.
Mhm. Absolutely. And so we know that they're bad. We talked about the things that are in, or the substances that are in the oils that are added to the oils. But why are they bad? What are they doing to our bodies? So, and this is not a exhaustive list of everything. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what these things are doing to these bodies, and the imitation and the processed foods, particularly the oils. So interfering with immune function, inhibiting the body's use of omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are very important, and you can think of those as anti-inflammatory. So it's inhibiting the body's use. So you could be consuming that, but if you're also consuming a lot of the bad seed oils, the vegetable oils, the processed foods, the fried foods, and everything that has those in it, then it just outweighs the good stuff that you're putting in. Also or associated with increased asthma. Also raises the lipoprotein, and we're going to talk about that in a second too. Contributes to weight gain. A lot of times people have a hard time losing weight, and we talk about it being a large component is diet and what you're putting into your mouth. And you can be eating something that's supposedly healthy, but if it was cooked in vegetable oil, processed with vegetable oil, has vegetable oils in it or seed oils in it, it can be a hindrance to what you're trying to achieve health wise. Also associated with increased cancer and decrease fertility. And again, this is not uh, the total list of things. We just wanted to pull out a few things that can be important to a lot of people, that a lot of people are not um, looking back at the connection between all of these things. You may think that this is over here, or I have cancer over here. Okay, I have asthma over here, but all of these things are related, and it's very much tied to diet. So another reason that these oils are bad too. I'm sure a lot of people in here, or everyone in here at some point has had blood work done, labs done. You've probably most likely had a lipid panel that was done by your doctor. And on that lipid panel is typically going to give your total cholesterol, your triglycerides, your LDL cholesterol, which is considered your bad cholesterol, and then also your HDL cholesterol, which is considered the good cholesterol. Now, in general, what these trans fats, these seed oils are going to do is they're going to contribute to raising your bad cholesterol. So the more processed foods that you have in your diet, the higher that LDL cholesterol is going to go up. And then the lower your good cholesterol is going to be. Okay. So if you've worked with me, or if you've worked with Dr. Karen, we may have even talked to you about, okay, yeah, we need to raise up that HDL cholesterol. We need to lower that LDL. And a lot of it again starts with the diet. Also the reason why it is considered the bad cholesterol, or the LDL, is this is the type of cholesterol that can lead to buildup in your arteries. So the plaquing, the hardening of the arteries, that is due to to partly to the LDL. The higher that number is, the more at risk you are for cardiovascular disease. Okay. The good cholesterol, on the other hand, the HDL, that's involved with picking up the excess cholesterol and taking it back to the liver for processing. Okay. So just a little education on what the good and the bad are. And there's really no such thing as good and bad. That's just what it has been referred to over time. Because to a degree, you are also going to have a certain level of LDL is acceptable and a certain level of HDL is acceptable. And all of that is part of your total cholesterol. Dr. Karen?
Ah, okay, inflammatory effects of omega-6. Pretty much what Dr. Reed said, you want to have more omega-3 in your diet and a lot less omega-6. And the omega-6 can be found in vegetable seed oils, shortenings, margarines, mainly. And a little bit can be found in nuts and some in chicken. I wouldn't be so concerned about avoiding chicken, especially if you're doing free-range chicken, organic chicken. Those are the ones that are not being fed the grains and the corn are going to be the healthier choice as far as chicken. But yes, the omega-6, that's the one that Dr. Reed talked about that depletes your body of the healthy HDL, and it raises your LDL levels.
Mhm. And the bottom line being that you have to change your diet, and you ultimately want to increase the omega-3 rich foods in your lifestyle, incorporating that on a regular basis. That's what then starts to outweigh the omega-6s in your diet. So let's talk about now the good. We've talked about the bad oils. So let's talk about the good. And again, you saw the list several slides ago. So these are not the only good oils, but we just picked a few out. But I love this quote off to the side. It says, "As for butter versus margarine, I trust cows more than chemists." And that basically explains it up. Explains it. Butter from cows, margarine was made in a lab by a
Yes,
chemist.
that sums it up nicely. Nature versus chemicals.
Exactly, exactly. So some of the good oils that are out there, olive oil, you see it on the screen. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats, helps to lower your bad cholesterol or your LDL cholesterol because it is high in omega-3s. It also has anti-inflammatory properties. Avocado oil, rich in vitamin E. I love avocado oil. Very mild flavor, kind of like along the lines of olive oil. Excuse me. Helps to support heart health and antioxidant protection. What we talked about earlier about the free radicals, antioxidants are what helps to battle free radicals in your system. And butter. We hear or have heard so much about, oh, bad butter is bad. Oh, butter is very good. Butter and lard is very good. Animal fat is very good. Butter is rich in vitamins such as vitamin A, vitamin D, E, K. Another one we don't have on here, which I mentioned in a couple of slides ago, was cod liver oil. Cod liver oil has naturally occurring vitamin A and vitamin D in the liver of the cod. Granted, it's not the most pleasant, and I'm sure some of you, I think my mom gave it to me once when I was little, and it was the liquid and, a spoonful. I personally just take it in a capsule now, and sometimes I open up that, but it definitely tastes nothing like it did when I was younger. I don't know. I don't know what was in that bottle when I was younger, but it wasn't anything that tasted good, but we also have to realize is that our parents, our grandparents, even though a lot of this change in the American diet came in their generation, they were doing the right things. They knew the right things. They didn't have all the processed foods and chemicals and everything that we have in our diet now, they knew things. They knew the natural remedies for everything. It's now that people have gotten away from it, but are now starting to come back to it. And we want to definitely be a part of being able to educate everyone. So the takeaways about oils: avoid polyunsaturated fats, your trans fats. For salad dressings, use olive oil, use avocado oil, use sesame oil is another good one. I like to use avocado oil again because it has a mild flavor, and then you can add your seasonings. You can add your balsamic vinegar to it. Apple cider vinegar is another choice to make your own salad dressings. For cooking, use your saturated fats. Use your butter. Again, using your oils. A lot of different things that you can use that are so much healthier. And of course, avoiding the fried foods as much as possible, especially in the restaurants. You know, a lot of times you do not have control of what the restaurant uses in their food, what they fry the food. And a lot of them are using the cheaper options, which, yes, is the canola oil, the vegetable oil. And so if you do a lot of eating out, you definitely have to look at making lifestyle changes, even if it's just one day at a time, one thing at a time.
So on this slide, we just pulled some of the ingredients for spreads. And it points out, let's see, I think I need to put the spectacles back on so I can see what I should be reading.
Put your
So
eyes back on.
something like Country Crock, it talks about the vegetable oil blend. So their blend is soybean oil, which is not good. Palm oil, not good. Palm kernel oil, you guessed it, not good. And then it also contains mono and disaccharides, soy lecithin, natural and artificial flavor, citric acid. So many things that you do not find in butter, which is just natural. There's no other way to say it. It's just natural. These products are made to taste good. Butter is just naturally tasty. So you want to avoid like all the spreads because they contain so many harmful chemicals. And I get a kick out of the one that's called, I can't believe it's not butter. Why are we creating something to taste like butter when we could just eat butter and
Just
be
have
healthy?
butter. Exactly.
Exactly. I can't believe it's not butter. How about I can believe it is butter and just walk it back.
But again, I think, you know, we grew up on this stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And when you've grown up on something, it's been in your refrigerators, in your cabinets for so long, you know, you have the approval from your medical doctor. You're probably even being told that your labs they look okay. They look good.
Mhm.
Continue with what you're doing, but it's not good. I mean, it's as simple as looking at labels and
Right.
even doing the research for yourself too. I always tell people, don't always believe what I say. I mean, yes, believe what I say, but research it for yourself too. Start to Google some of these things: low soy lecithin and artificial flavor. I don't want anything artificial in my food. And like you said, I don't want something that's going to resemble butter when I could just have butter.
Right. And when we look at this chart on the left, when it talks about saturated fat versus trans fat, and you look at things like, what is it doing to your cell membranes? So saturated fat, the healthy one, it's essential to keep the integrity of your membranes. Whereas trans fat, it interferes with the structure, with the integrity of that membrane. There's so much talk now about products that disrupt hormone function. And just eating these spreads does that. It interferes with hormone production. Whereas when you have your healthy fats, it helps promote good hormone production. I feel like I'm always repeating myself. And
Mhm.
one of the things that you want to look at too is look at what it does for inflammation. Fatty saturated fats actually helps us to suppress inflammation, whereas trans fats, it's encouraging inflammation. So inflammation is associated with joint pain, with swelling, with irritability, um, and with disease. So when eating these bad oils, it's affecting the whole body on um, such a small level over time that it becomes cumulative.
Mhm. And that's another reason why with this program, with this 21-day program, detox program, and even the other programs, it is eliminating the point is eliminating the things that are going to promote inflammation.
Yep.
One of them being the processed foods, the bad oils. And if you have something processed, most likely it is going to have these chemicals, these artificial flavors, these stabilizers, coloring, artificial flavoring added to something. And you have to look at what is it doing to your body. And
Mhm.
that's one of the main reasons why this is used, or this what we call elimination diet is used with this program, because we want to help promote healthy reactions in the body, healthy blood chemistry, reducing inflammation. Some people notice the, you know, decrease pain in the joints, decrease inflammation, and decrease swelling in their joints, is because you're not you're not having things in your diet that are promoting the inflammation.
Yep.
And I don't, I use this loosely, but in some ways it's not rocket science. If you take away something that's promoting it, you're gonna feel better. You add it back in, you're not gonna feel so good.
Mhm.
Okay. This was another illustration. It's a little bit harder to get this clear, but basically, this is showing three different things. At the top one is margarine. The second one is reduced fat butter. And then the third one, or the third lump or clump or whatever, is natural butter. And the little black things are ants. And you can
Mm.
see where the ants are congregated around the natural butter. Okay. And the artificial stuff, they're like, even ants know, they're like, and no, give me the real stuff.
Mhm.
Give me the real stuff. And you also have to look at when you go to the grocery store, and or you go to the farmer's market, and you come home and you have to clean off your produce and everything because it has bugs on it. That's a good thing. If the bugs are actually trying to eat your produce and everything, that's a good thing. That also means that there's no pesticides used, that there's nothing inorganic that's used with it because they want to eat it. So you have to look at that. So that's why I love this picture. So ultimately, you have to let food be your medicine. And that was a quote given by Hippocrates. Let food be your medicine. There's so many nutrients, minerals, vitamins that are just found in natural food. When you start getting something created by a lab, it is just that. It is created by a lab, and it's always going to be synthetic to some degree. Yes, it's cost effective, it's cheaper, it's mass produced, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy for you.
But in the long run, it causes more problems than what it helps.
Exactly. So those of you that are on the call that are doing the 21 day, just a reminder, you have one more week on this. So we're on the home stretch of this. So hang in there. When we do our class next Monday, which will be the last class, that will be day 21 for most of you that started on January 8th. So just hang in there one more week.
We got this. So at this time, we're going to stop the recording and we can take any comments or questions?